Welcome back to the Artie Lange Show. Our next guest will be hosting the tailgate show and the postgame show for NFL Radio Super Bowl Sunday.
Wow.
It's our friend Casey Stern. What's up, buddy?
What's up, boys?
So
How we doing?
You're going full throttle?
Full throttle.
Football.
Football.
Because you're a baseball expert, too. So what? So let's break this down, man.
Yes.
Come on. Let's get right to it.
Go ahead.
Don't beat around the bush.
I won't. Yeah.
How many black chicks have you slept with?
You could have gone anywhere there. I was sure there was going to be a Super Bowl prediction you were asking for.
No, who cares about that?
Zero.
This first.
Zero.
I know.
Yeah.
Your wife is here, of course. I'm
No,
sorry.
I would tell you if it was
sorry,
7.
sweetie.
I mean, we're married. It's too late, but 0.
Well, I'm going to ask her a similar question.
Yeah. How many black chicks? You're going to ask me how many black chicks she slept with.
Yeah, exactly. No.
I think 2.
No. So give us this is a dream matchup in the biggest city in the world. You got the defense, offense. What are you thinking?
Well, if by dream you mean freezing your ass off, it's going to
Well,
be.
are you going to be
It's
at
gonna
the,
be-
you're going to be in a
I
box
will.
like one of these
during the game, yeah, and then freezing. So it'll look.
I'm not. I'm outside.
Well, here's the part that I think the weather being cold to me is not that big a deal. I understand for
It's football.
for the events leading
Yeah,
up.
yeah.
I get that. I do. For the game itself, it's football, and I'm not a professional clearly, but I think watching football in the cold or playing in the cold, it's football. That's okay for me.
For the Bravo, what happens live party?
Well, yeah. Well, I don't want the weather to be a problem. Like, for me, if the weather becomes the story, then it makes a joke out of the game. That you don't want. So the cold, I don't mind. If it's 15 degrees and you see the air coming out, so what? I think they wanted the Tuck game kind of repeated. They wanted the snow. They wanted... Otherwise, why do this? Like, to me, the only thing that I like about having it at MetLife is that it opens it up to have it at Lambeau Field, and I would be all for that. Like, I would love to see the Super Bowl at Soldier Field or at Lambeau. Like, MetLife does nothing for me, but I'm taking Seattle. I've said it the whole way through. To me, great pitching, to use the baseball parallel, beats great hitting. Great defense beats great offense. I think this is a very similar Super Bowl to the 18-0 Pats against the Giants. This is a much better Seattle team than that Giant team, but the defensive front bothered Brady and took what was a historic offense and for the first time made them look silly. I think Seattle's front is going to bother Peyton Manning for the first time
That
this season.
Giant team, that's a good point. All good points. That Giant team had the intangibles of just clutch. You know, it's like clutch hitting, to use a baseball analogy. That's what the 78 Yankees had. Every one of those guys, Piniella, Oscar Gamble, they got hits in the clutch, and Eli Manning's a clutch guy. Tyree was a clutch guy. That's something you can't put on paper. And, who knows if the Seahawks have that. I agree. Do you think it's a close game?
I do. I think it's going to be a close game. You know, for me, I think the most fascinating part, I was talking to somebody today about the betting line, which is down to 2.5. I think it opened at 3. So people putting it on,
I wouldn't know.
Seattle
If you're
a
still
little
walking
bit.
down that dead-end street, that's fine.
Right. Well, look, the over-under, which is somewhere in the mid-40s, like, to me, I don't know what kind of game we're getting. Because
it's hard.
I think Seattle could play, John, a great defensive game and give up 24 points to Denver. Denver's offense is phenomenal. You might give up a couple of quick strikes and give up 24 points.
Right,
and play
24
a great game
points
on
against
defense.
Peyton Manning in that offense is a great defensive game. Yeah.
Denver was held under 30 twice this year.
That's
2
amazing.
times.
That is amazing.
19 games, 18 games.
You know? So I don't know what we're getting.
That's a lot of points,
And can
man.
Seattle score enough? Like, I think a big key is when you look at the Patriots and Blunt runs for 6 carries and then is gone. Like, for me, that's the end of the game. You got to run the ball and keep it out of Peyton Manning's hand. If Marshawn Lynch does not have a good game, I don't think Seattle can win the Super Bowl. I think he's the key.
Yeah, no, you're
he's
right.
the
If they
MVP. If they win, he's the MVP of the
If they
Super Bowl.
get that running game going and the offense going, along with the D, you're right. They're hitting on all cylinders. I agree.
I think so. Part of what makes this so interesting, and if we could get someone to look this up or something, when has Peyton Manning ever played any of these members of Seattle secondary? When has he ever played this group of
Can
guys?
we cross-reference
They played
Manning
in the
with,
preseason, right? But when I don't think we've ever seen him go up against this group.
I got a mini iPad right here. I'm going to do it. Let me cross-reference.
We need Shane.
Sherman.
We should just ask Boschetti. I'm sure he knows.
Sherman/Peyton Manning.
Right, Earl Tom, all these guys. He hasn't. Chancellor.
I don't
think he's faced
think
any of these guys before.
So you
I don't have an
that
answer.
Unknown.
I'm on Overstock.com.
Quality. You have this feeling like I have no idea what this is going to look like.
No, I
know.
Look, and that's the fascinating part. Then can Russell Wilson if he needs that big touchdown, there's still that question. If he needs to lead the drive at the fourth quarter and you can't run the football, can he do it? I think it's a fascinating game.
I really like
It's
Russell Wilson.
Fascinating.
A lot. Hasn't played very well.
No.
But
I
think a big part of that.
I just Googled Casey Stern. Look at how thin.
I know, dude.
Look at how thin he was.
I know. He's killing me. Let
Were
me
you
see
on
that.
blow?
Not then. No.
He still is.
Not then.
You are really thin there.
Yeah, I was. That's like 08, I think, ish. I can't see it on my glass. I think that's 08. That's a blank screen that looks more.
There's
Yeah.
you're glad. There you go.
That's oh my God, that's like 07.
Yeah,
It's
that's
a long
very
time
nice.
ago. It's a long time ago. Yeah.
That's when you fell in love with him.
I'm now
right?
with child. Yeah, I was thinner then. I was thinner then.
And then there's a list. There's a list of all these black chicks.
I didn't realize you were going to bring me on to make me feel bad about myself. I could have just read Bochetti's Twitter.
What do you think? You think you're on Ellen DeGeneres' show?
No. I did get asked several times, by the way, and we can get back to reality, about Boschetti Gate. I had several people write to me that I had to make sure I.
You tell us.
Did I miss something?
Well, you tell us what you think about this.
I don't even know what it is.
Mike
what is it?
had bronchitis for 4 hours, and the 4 hours happened to land within the 3 hours we're on the air. So he called in sick Friday. The next night was at a party. The next night did a stand-up gig for his own personal financial atonement.
So you weren't here, and then the next day had a stand-up appearance that
And he
you
said he
made.
had bronchitis.
It was 2 days later.
I
Two
thought
days later.
Bichetti Gate was also Mike getting catfished by
That's part of
multiple men posing as
Now, what
young,
about the chick?
nubile teen
Wait,
women.
what?
Yeah, Wally had. Here's the other
Wait,
part.
what?
John makes a good point.
Biscotti-
The other part of Boschetti Gate is Wally had bronchitis. He was tweeting
Yeah.
while we were on the air.
While we're on the show.
I was
not- yeah.
tweeting. I tweeted.
Do we
once
have
or
But he
twice.
couldn't respond to our text. But he was tweeting.
I went back to sleep. I got up after 1. Asked Shane. I texted him a little bit after 1.
No, it was 12:56.
Well, how many days did you miss?
Just that Friday.
You missed Friday.
And he also, I think another
Bronchitis.
part of Bichetti Gate could be that he has now blocked Gino Bisconte on Twitter.
Because of
and
what?
there's a huge
I met him. He's a
feud.
comedian. I met him
Yeah.
in the here.
Well, he calls himself that.
He's having,
Right.
It's very,
Mike now
very ugly.
hates
Now, what
Gino.
is it? What,
They were friends.
Why are they not friends
I
anymore?
don't know. Let's call it more like a long distance acquaintance.
Oh yeah, yeah. Let's listen to some of the tweets. Listen to this. This is Mike. You're going to read.
Yeah, this is Mike.
Go ahead.
Chatting with his newest
Enemy?
target, I
yeah,
guess.
right.
He says, "You are a stunner no matter where or what you are. In fact, I would be super protective of you."
What?
And look,
No. That's not. We thought you were talking to Gino Bisconte.
This is
oh, that's the catfishing. I have the
is.
Gino Bisconte.
No, this is better.
This is a girl.
This is Mike
supposedly a girl.
Yeah, this is Mike tweeting Friday night while we're on the air. He should be here.
To a girl?
And
No, this
if
is-
you can show her, can we show her profile
Well,
picture?
she looks hot. Put it that. She looks
No,
hot.
it's like
I
it's
blocked
just
her, too,
it's a
for being
it's a teen girl in a bikini.
No, she's blocked.
Well, first of all, I would be super protective of you. It's a really creepy thing to say.
I mean, Mike, do you realize that?
Like that is a really creepy
Well, if
thing
you're a
to say.
gentleman, you protect your woman
Yeah,
friends.
but
and
Mike,
family.
you never
know what I
met
mean?
her. You never met her, and it sounds like what it sounds like? That scene in The Godfather where Waltz has that girl in his house.
Oh, she looks like she's 12.
Yeah, that's what it seems like.
Right, but it was your next line, I'll take you to Disney World and get you cotton candy.
No. Oh.
Yeah.
Mike says, you're a stunner no matter what.
Right.
Stunner.
Right.
And then in one run-on sentence,
That always
he says,
gets the chicks.
In
You're-
one
you're a
run-on sentence,
stunner.
he says, I'd be super protective.
Super protective of you.
know-
I would not let you out of the house.
Yeah.
I'd keep you in my cave.
It wasn't Disney World. It was Legoland.
Oh, Legoland. Yeah.
Buffalo Bill, in Silence of the Lambs, Buffalo Bill, that girl he keeps in the dungeon, in the cave, he's super protective of her.
She likes cotton candy.
Yeah, she likes
So you
that.
had bronchitis.
For 4 hours.
Right.
No,
Now,
I never for 4 hours. I got out of bed yesterday. for
Mike,
the
if
first
we
time.
check, you have a laptop at home?
I have an Apple, actually.
If we check
desktop.
your MacBook, the history.
He doesn't even make it that hard.
Like-
It's on Twitter. It's on
but
social
if
media.
we hit the drop-down box, how scared would we be?
Oh, really?
I don't know. I don't even want to see it as an employer.
I'm not looking for dirty stuff or guns or anything on the neck.
No guns. I'll just overprotect little girls.
Put it this way: once every 2 weeks, there's always a mysterious 600-pound drum outside Mike's house for garbage. The Artie Lange Show. Back with Casey Stern after this. Welcome back to the Artie Lange Show. Casey Stern here. He's going for Seattle. and in a close game, and it's hard to. What about you, John? What do you think? Do you counter that with Peyton? Anybody give Peyton any props here?
You know, I want Peyton to win this, and
I do too.
And I go back and forth. And initially, I was Seattle. I felt very strongly about that. When I went back and watched the conference championship games again, I came away from that thinking, man, this Broncos team is really good. Like, this Broncos team looks like the best team in the NFL. Defensively, they are shutting down the run game. And, they shut down the vaunted Patriots rushing attack that was supposed to be all world. And it all came down to one guy in the middle, Terrence Knighton, this big pot roast. And he had just one of the most dominant games I've ever seen a defensive nose tackle have. An amazing sack, just stuffing people, knocking people all over the place. He was immovable in the middle there. And I came away from that saying, if he can do that to the Seattle Seahawks,
they're in trouble.
They can't win. But if they can move Terrence Knighton, the Seattle Seahawks are so dominant defensively that Peyton's not going to put up the points he's accustomed to putting up. And I think Seattle wins it. So I don't know where I stand. I mean, does that sound like I like...
It's close.
I don't know. I think it's going to be an amazing game.
It's the first time in 20 years we've had the overall 1 against the overall 2. It's the 5th time in the history of the NFL that we've ever had the team that scores the most points against the team that gives up the least.
And historically,
this is a great Super Bowl.
Historically, every time this situation has been in existence, the defensive team won, correct?
Yes, every time.
Every time.
Yes.
And there's a bunch of stats, like the number 1 statistical quarterback in the game has always lost.
Right.
It's when you look at that perspective, it doesn't look good for Denver. But they're such a great team.
It's a great Super Bowl.
And Peyton Manning, man, he's the best out there.
Well, here's the thing, though.
He can somehow concoct things to make them win.
I think he's phenomenal. I like the fact that the one-on-one matchups in this game, Denver's offense against Seattle's secondary, and really I'll put Earl Thomas in there too because I think Julius Thomas down the middle has been dangerous. Yeah. The one-on-one matchups, you're talking about phenomenal wide receivers, at least the way that, and Thomas is definitely in that category, but Welker, you got all these weapons. But you've got guys, this is the one team that's got near equals, if not equals, on the defensive side.
Oh, and they're deep,
where
too.
You're going to have one-on-one battles down the field where guys just aren't open. Yeah. So regardless of what Peyton Manning is doing, and I think he's as smart as everyone else does, I don't know how many guys are going to be open.
One-on-one battles with a safety over the top.
Right.
It's going to be exciting.
Yeah.
We got to roll. Casey, listen, so you're going to be...
Sunday, tailgate show.
Tailgate show and the postgame show for NFL Radio Super Bowl Sunday. Come back afterwards and give us your thoughts.
I will.
Thank you, buddy.
All right, boys.
The great Casey Stern.
The Artie Lange Show. Weeknights on Audience. Only on DirecTV.